everybody. Welcome to another great Let's Talk Sports show. I am your host, of course, Bodkins. It is Monday. We got the College World Series happening on right now. Plus, I don't even know. We got a lot to talk about. We got some great guests. It's Jim and John night. You guys know every Monday we'll be joined later on by Jim Biringer and Jonathan Grishman. Jim Biringer might have had a weekend and a week that we all need to sit down and just go play-by-play with of what happened and what's to happen with Jim Biringer. So I'm excited to talk to him tonight. Excited to talk to, a guy who missed yesterday's show, but back tonight. None other than Mr. First Down. Sam, what is up, my friend?
If you want to be my lover, you got to get with my Nick.
Oh, well, I mean, my wife wouldn't like that too much. So, she, as she always says, those girls can catch these hands. So is what she was always saying. Also, as always, joined us none other than super producer, Mr. Buffoon himself, Tanner Dawson.
What's up, everybody?
Layout King.
Tanner, what is up? And then nothing but least, coming for live from Dansbury Nursing Home, Mr. Gambler himself, Scott Cobe.
What's up, gentlemen?
Take me to Rite Aid.
Go Tigers. Go Tigers. I'm on
the Tigers. The Tigers are killing it right now, Scott. Let's recap yesterday on your bets here. We had the over and the Reds money line and Phillies money line, right?
Reds plus 1.5. I had run line.
Nailed it, right?
Nailed it. Nailed the team, the over, Braves and Reds. And I think I picked the Phillies too, and they won 7-6. So it was a good day. Tonight I had LSU. I put a unit on LSU. I put a half a unit on the Tigers team total over 3.5. That's hit. LSU's up 10-2 right now. And the final one I put was Spencer Steer, who plays for the Reds, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, and he has a hit and an RBI. So as long as this game doesn't get postponed, because it's a rain delay right now, that's a hit as well. So that's the 3 bets that I put. So
if that game's rain delay, though, that doesn't carry over?
No, because they cancel out all the stats and everything else. So they'll restart the game all over.
It's just a void. Yeah,
it's just a void.
Bitches. Well,
I'll get my bet money back, but I won't get the winnings that go
Gotcha.
with it.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully that game resumes. And who are we looking at betting on tomorrow night?
Minnesota team total under 3.5. They're at Atlanta. They have problems offensively. They're losing 2-1 right now. So I think Minnesota is going to go under the team total. The Braves money line, obviously, with that, and Texas money line too, especially if they lose tonight. So
hey, hit that under, no runs in the first inning for that Minnesota Atlanta. Once again, if they hit it tonight, they'll hit it tomorrow night as well.
Yep.
Can we give Scott his own language? Like he's like, I'm 3 chowders over. I got him at 3 chowders.
Was it chowders or Maine lobsters? Which one do you?
Yeah,
lobsters to the big bet, right? Lobsters to the big bet, and chowders to the small bet.
Right. Yeah, that's what I want.
And the reason
give us little graphics too. I give it 3 chowders.
And the other thing is the reason you pick LSU was the reason you should have picked the Rockies yesterday, which I didn't do. They got smoked. They're going to come back. They haven't pitched their best pitcher yet, which is Skeens, who could be the number 1 draft pick for Pittsburgh, and they're up 10-2. So any problems they have, Skeens is coming in the game to quell that. So
and we'll talk with a little bit about Jonathan. With Jonathan, obviously, big Tiger fan, so I'm sure he'll be in a good mood tonight when he gets on, unless something crazy happens there. But I mean, they are talking the 3 best players in the upcoming draft are playing tonight.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, Florida offensively is pretty good. They're struggling tonight, obviously, but LSU is a well-rounded team. As I watched the first 4 innings of the game before we jumped on, they're very well-rounded up and down their lineup. They're really good. They're pitching a closer as it started tonight. The closer, and then they got their all-world Paul Skeens in the bullpen ready to come out. Like, if you remember Pedro back in the day with the Red Sox, came out and pitched 6 innings against Cleveland when they needed him to clinch a game, and Chris Sale did it in the 2018 World Series. So any stud starter that can't pitch usually comes out of the pen and finishes games. So, I mean, LSU's got it all, I think. So.
Well, we got out here right now the Tim Keene Show. What's good, fellas? Have a good show. Appreciate you, Tim Keene Show.
My liege.
Yeah, Tim, stick around. I know Tim's a big wrestling guy. We're going to be talking a little bit of wrestling with Jim Biringer, who was boots on the ground at AEW Collision and boots on the ground last night at Forbidden Door. So he had quite the weekend, and he's actually somehow headed to see Sam in Nashville for the NHL draft. So
I mean, avoid Sam.
He messaged me, just so you know. I'll share it. I'll share it just to spite you.
Sam, I got something to do with the draft. I'm sorry, I gotta go. See.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really? The message is,
if you see, breaking news.
Really? Because I'm outside your hotel room.
If you see me, act like you don't know me, because I don't want to be known where people are.
But on Facebook Live.
But before we talked to him, that Forbidden Door event was awesome last night. That was good. Really good. It was awesome. I enjoyed it immensely last night.
I haven't finished watching it yet, but it's pretty good.
It was incredible, and I want to wait till we get Jim on. He's going to be calling Tanner before we kind of break that down. But it was incredible, I thought, from opening to end. I mean, Tanner, I know you're not a huge wrestling fan, and you're getting.
I didn't get a chance to watch. I literally didn't get a chance to review any of it. I saw some of the highlights Jim posted, because if you don't follow Jim at Jim Biringer, you're not going to see anything. If you don't follow it very closely like these guys. It was really awesome. Even if you're like, as a grown man, you're not a wrestling fan, go just watch the Okada, or not the Okada, but the Omega and Ospreay fight.
Absolutely.
That match alone, that'll get your 12-year-old, 10-year-old self back into wrestling. It's why you loved wrestling as a kid, was that match right there. I feel like that's the type of match where you're like, oh man, I'm like a 10-year-old kid here again watching that match.
So is AEW, we can ask Jim too, but is AEW really taking over this wrestling scene officially? Like WWE is now on the back burner?
No,
not according to ratings. They're not. No.
So I've always said this: WWE is a different type of. It's two different type of products. A little bit.
That's true.
WWE is the entertainment, the storylines. Oh, there is
He's
that.
in.
Jim?
He's in. Jim, can you hear us?
Jim.
Wait.
Nick, finish the thought.
Hey, Jim, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Jim. Yeah. Hey, let me give you a good. Hey, Jim. Before you start, let me give you the proper introduction. I just said the man who might be the most interesting person in the world right now, man who was boots on the ground for TNT Collision, boots on the ground for Forbidden Door, and now he's driving from Canada all the way to Nashville, Tennessee for the NHL draft. Give it up for our very own Jim Biringer, baby.
Yeah.
What's up, boys? Yeah, thank you for that introduction. It's been a long, long day of traveling. I am on the road. Thank you for doing this for me. I did not want to miss my Monday spot with you gentlemen.
Jim, I don't know where to begin. I don't know if I just want to start play by play, minute for minute, from Friday when you got to Canada and saw Collision Saturday all the way to last night. But my first question is actually, you posted a picture with Tony Schiavone. Did you tell him, hey, Tony, make sure you check out the Let's Talk Sports show. It's the best damn show going on YouTube, especially on Monday nights when you're on there.
Yo, I said, Tony, cut the shit. You need to listen to Let's Talk Sports for Monday night.
That's awesome.
And did he listen? And he's tuning in right now. So Tony, if you're watching us, just DM one of us. We'll get you on the show.
That's it. Yo, Tony, watch the show. You know what's up. No, let me tell you something. So I flew in Saturday to Canada and I wasn't sure if I was going to go to Collision, but I did. Best experience. What a show. Sitting ringside. Just unbelievable start to finish. Just a great show, great atmosphere. Canadian wrestling fans, let me tell you something. Whether you're hot or not, they're going to let you know. And they let CM Punk know that he's not welcome in Canada at any time.
It came across. That was going to be my question. Was so Saturday night or last night? I could hear the boos for CM Punk mainly. How was the reaction though Saturday? Because it seemed a little mixed baggish.
Yeah, Saturday was more 50-50 for CM Punk than it was Sunday. Sunday was about 80-20. And the building was better on Sunday, obviously, because of the pay-per-view. Still pretty packed Saturday night, but the pay-per-view sold out building. And let me tell you something, 80-20 against CM Punk, and he loved every minute of it. He played the heel role so well in Canada, similar to Will Ospreay. These guys just ate it up. And, like we say, like Bret Hart, when he went to America, he ate it up. Man, CM Punk in Canada, one of the biggest heels, and he loved every minute of it.
Jim, talk about the atmosphere in the building before Sunday's pay-per-view and before Forbidden Door, and what was it like in there before the matches started?
Yeah, the building was awesome. I mean, let me tell you something. The minute I got in the building, people were going nuts. They were going crazy. They were just ready for this pay-per-view. I always experienced Canadian wrestling fans on like TV. I never was a part of it, and I'm so glad I was, because these guys were hot from the beginning. Even for the pre-show, like 0 Hour, they were ready to rock and roll. They were just ready for their show. It was nonstop, like 5+ hours if you count 0 Hour of wrestling. And man, these guys were hot. I mean, they did not quit all night. I think, though, I will say, I think we got worn out by that 40-minute epic by Ospreay and Omega, because the Danielson match, though it was hot, the crowd was there, they were drained because Omega and Ospreay just took everybody out for what they did and what they accomplished.
Yeah, I think, Jim, that's your match of the night, because that to me might be the match of the century.
Absolutely.
I know you've talked about them doing it a third time, and you've mentioned that even last Monday. You said, "Hey, I think Ospreay's going to win on Sunday, and then they'll do a third one at All In." How do you top that one? Because that match last night, 45 minutes on the edge of your seat. I thought that match was going to end at least 10 times. I kind of was thinking that Ospreay was going to win because that was the intel given to me by you. But I mean, by God, that match, I thought 5 times Kenny was dead. I thought 5 times Ospreay was dead, and it just kept going.
Yeah, I mean, like you heard like Justin Roberts call out like the time limit, and you're like, oh, maybe they'll go to a draw. But then like the combinations, the sequences, the spots they pulled off, like especially at the end with like the way Ospreay won the match. Like I thought it was gonna end here. I thought it was gonna end there. I mean, the counts, the finishes, the fact that the crowd, I thought the building was gonna explode and the roof was gonna come off when Kenny Omega kicked out at 1. When Ospreay was the one-winged angel. Yeah. Like the building was rocking.
Yes.
It was awesome. And, I cannot believe, like, the way they put that match together. I thought the Wrestle Kingdom match was awesome. I was like, oh, how are they going to top this one? Oh, they did. Plenty. And the fact that they're going to settle it again, unbelievable. I mean, Ospreay even indicated after the show that they could settle it anytime they want. You got a feeling it's going to be at Wembley. I mean, why not finish it at All In?
Yeah, the thing I said to Nick today is that Bryan Danielson for me is the number 1 wrestler in my book. Not by far, but he's the number 1 wrestler. Is Omega and Ospreay 2 and 3 for you in terms of what they did last night? And Don Callis being involved at the end was a perfect thing, and Omega just kept kicking out before Ospreay finally got him. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would put Danielson up there as number 1. I definitely put Omega, Ospreay up there as well. I mean, those guys, the fact that you had all those guys, and throw Okada in there is like probably 4 of the best wrestlers in the world right now. The fact that you got those guys in a double main event, and to me, like, I know Danielson and Okada went on the main event slot. Personally, I thought the main event was Omega Ospreay for the title, because like that was what everybody was hyped about. But you have the 4 best wrestlers potentially in the world right now. Danielson, what he does, it sucks that he's got a broken arm, 6 to 8 weeks, he'll be out. But the match with Okada was unbelievable. Like Ospreay and Omega, these guys continue to show that these guys can wrestle at a high level, especially Omega in these single spots. Like there's a reason why Kenny Omega is called the best bout machine in the world, and he proved it again last night. Ospreay, the aerial assassin, like these guys. I mean, what they did in that match, and what Okada and Danielson did, just ridiculous. Like just the athleticism and the fact that what they did and the length of these matches just shows that if you want to put together a pure pro wrestling show, you can do it. And New Japan and AEW put together probably one of the best shows of the year.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right, Jim. And that crowd was on fire. I want to say they've been touting Omega since he came into AEW about like him being the bout machine. I have not really seen that until last night. To me, I thought that was the best Omega we have seen in AEW.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, unfortunately, the year he had the title, he had a lot of injuries when he was coming into the company. So, like, it limited him what he could do in the ring. Obviously, he had, like, the tag stint with Hangman Adam Page early on. But that was the Kenny Omega I remember from New Japan. That's the Kenny Omega that was hyped coming into AEW. This was the Kenny Omega that if you ask me one guy that could go all out with anybody in the world, that's the Kenny Omega I saw Sunday night. And it was just unbelievable what he did in that ring. The punishment he took, the punishment he delivered. I mean, considering Will Ospreay's neck injuries and head injuries over the years, that DDT on the stairs, the V triggers outside through the barricade. I mean, I have no words for that match. To me, match of the year, hands down.
I love what Tony Khan did with Daniel Bryan's entrance. The final countdown was the last entrance he had in Ring of Honor all those years ago. That was the song that got played, and last night he brought it back. So Tony Khan is a wrestling historian, and and Daniel Bryan said after the thing, he didn't even know that was going to get played until the last minute. So that to me shouts out that Tony Khan knows his history of wrestling, and it was phenomenal. Daniel Bryan loved it, he said.
Yeah, I mean, look, he even said it post-match that he just wanted to hear it. He wanted to be selfish. He wanted to hear Final Countdown again. And the crowd went nuts when Final Countdown was played. Though it is a one-off because of it's really expensive. Even Tony Khan said it in the post-show. He's like, it costs as much as a wrestler's contract. So that was a one-off, and I'm glad they did it for Forbidden Door against Okada, just to go back to his roots.
Yeah, right? It was outside of the Okada and Danielson and the Ospreay and Omega match. What was your favorite match or surprise match that you really liked?
I gotta say, I really liked the 4-way match between Orange Cassidy, Zack Sabre Jr., Shibata, and Daniel Garcia. I really enjoyed that match. Like, there was comedic spots at times, but all 4 guys put on such a great show and put on a great work in the ring that I could watch that match over and over again. I mean, the opener was good, Tanahashi, MJF. You know what you're gonna get. Even the 10-man tag was great because everybody got their spots, everybody was made to look good. There was not a bad match on the card. Like, there really wasn't. Like, they booked it so perfectly that they knew where to bring the crowd down, bring it back up.
Yeah, the Jericho Sting, that was the definition of a cool down match if I ever saw one.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah, death spot before main event. Absolutely. It was still a good match. Don't get me wrong.
They
pulled everybody down.
they were in the worst spot manageable, right? Like, how do you? Even Daniel said I didn't want to follow Omega and Osprey. Like, they didn't. He's like, I didn't even want to follow that. So, like, imagine, like, you know, you had the names there, Jericho and Sting, but then it's just like you're sandwiched in maybe two of the best matches, like you just said, four of the best wrestlers in the world right now are in between their two matches. Like, it's just it's insane that was kind of just a shit spot for them, but. I mean, you know, two guys that are going to handle it professionally, Sting and Jericho. What was your thoughts on, before we get off of Forbidden Door, what was your thoughts on Jungle Boy turning heel?
I kind of figured it was coming. You know, you knew it was coming when it was coming. He wants to win a championship so badly, but, like, Sonata didn't really take him seriously. He might have gained some respect from Sonata, but the fact that he lost again, and then Hook's there, and Hook's cheering him on, and he just turns heel on him. And look, I think that's a good direction because, look, we need to see a different side of Jungle Boy, man. He's always coming up short, and he needs to, you know, we need to see a better side of him. Maybe he can finally win the big one.
I would have liked to see him do more than just, like, hit him in the back. Like, he could have threw, you know, Hook off the stage. And then when Taz left the broadcast booth, I thought for sure they were going to flash back and you were going to see Jungle Boy beating up Taz. Like, I just felt like you could have done, like, you got the small heel turn, but, like, make it vicious heel turn, you know, make it like, you know, like, I didn't really walk away from that like, oh my gosh, I hate Jungle Boy now. Like, it was just like, Jungle Boy just hit Hook in the back of the head. Like, there was no chair shot. There was no, you know, like, beat down. And then I would have liked to see him beat down Taz, like hit Taz upside the head with a chair or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, they'll probably do more on Dynamite. That's why Sting and Darby and Jericho and Guevara have that Texas Tornado tag on Dynamite this week. Just because, like you said, they were in the worst possible spot. Now you can spotlight it a little bit more. Maybe they'll do a little bit more. Like, I really didn't hear. I don't know what the commentary was because they didn't have it in the arena when Taz was talking. He looked upset and he looked pissed and it felt like he was probably saying that, look, you don't want to piss off Hook and you don't want to get on his bad side because Hook can mess you up big time. Yeah,
that's pretty much what he said on air. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so I read lips pretty good then. So,
so smart, Jim. You're so smart.
Jim, let's talk about NHL for a minute.
Wait. Before we go into NHL,
okay.
Ashton Booker says that they really need to get Adam Cole a championship. Maybe the international championship, just give him more juice. What's your thoughts on that, Jim?
Well, I mean, look, it's unfortunate that Adam Cole was sick. He was supposed to be on the card, but he didn't get to Canada because he was sick. So hopefully, yeah, I agree. I think Cole's going to get a title. I just don't know what title it's going to be. I mean, I like the idea of him taking it off Orange Cassidy because it's a nice transition because then Cole can have another long reign with the championship. But it'll be interesting to see what they do going forward. I mean, continuously, eventually Orange Cassidy is going to lose that title. He just continues to find ways to win, which makes it really good right now. So I don't know if you can have him lose yet because the way they built it, it's so good. So when he finally does lose, it's going to be like, whoa, he lost the title. He couldn't finally have one more escape. But, yeah, I agree. I like Cole International Championship because I just don't see him beating MJF for the world title. Not yet.
Gotcha. I got one more question for you, wrestling, before we move to the NHL world. So I asked the guys before you called about AEW overtaking WWE. I'm going to rephrase it here for you. How long till AEW overtakes WWE in the ratings world?
I mean, here's the thing for me: the ratings war between these two companies, it's non-existent to me because they're on different nights, right? Like that's Rampage fair. Is just Rampage, and you know they're not. There was a ratings war with NXT and AEW, but that was a reactionary move for AEW coming in, and we saw what happened. AEW just kicked their ass like every week, except if it was a loaded card on NXT's part, they kicked their butt. But there's really no ratings war. It's like, to me, AEW, you like it, you can watch it. You know what? If it's WWE, you want to watch that too, go for it. But you know what? The wrestling world's in such a great place right now. The fact that we're getting pay-per-views like Forbidden Door, who would have thought years ago we'd be seeing this? Because we would never see this in WWE.
No.
And Vince would never allow it. And Vince would never allow his guys to lose on a show like that.
Jim, I was telling them right before Tanner asked that question, I said it's almost two different platforms. Like, to me, the entertainment storyline is a lot of WWE, if that's what you want, and things like that. AEW is, like, to me, the pure wrestling aspect of, like, actually doing things in the ring that more – then you don't get that what you want in the WWE. So it's sad though, because like there's so many, not like you or myself, where I feel like we watch both, enjoy both, and I don't really pick one or the other, which I like. I like both, and it's good to have balance, and it's good to have not a set, it's not all in one place, and that's the only thing you can get. It's good to have multiple shows, but it's sad that the rest of the wrestling world, you have to pick one side or the other, and you can't just be happy with both.
Right.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the wrestling world is so divided. Hopefully we start coming together more like we did over the weekend, because I met so many cool people. Guys came in from Hawaii for the show. Wow. Met so many good people in Canada that were fans of everything. People were giving me, high fives for the shirts that I was wearing. I had my Bret Hart Hitman jersey for Saturday night for Collision. I had my my John Huber shirt that I wore last night for Forbidden Door. People were giving me, so many, high fives and stuff. Hey, nice shirt. You traveled from Jersey. This is cool. Like, we were talking. Like, just that community is awesome. And the fact that we got that with Forbidden Door, hopefully that brings us together more. I know we're divided. Hey, WWE's better. This is better, whatever. But you know what? Like I said, the wrestling community and the wrestling product is really good because both companies are pushing each other to be better.
Yeah. All right, Scott, take it away.
Real quick, before we get to the hockey stuff. Hey, outside of Tony Schiavone, is there anybody else that you met that was really cool?
So I saw Aubrey walking around. She was cool, talking to her for a minute. My buddy of mine who ran a company in Jersey texted Prince Nana and Brian Cage. So I saw them like Saturday for a little bit before they had to go in when they were around the ring. Dax Harwood gave me a thumbs up for my Bret Hart jersey. So that was kind of cool. So that's a moment for me that I won't forget for sure. Just the people up there were so friendly. I mean, Canadians are always friendly, so that's like a stereotype, but they really are. It's just a fun time and an awesome experience that, I'm just so glad it was in Toronto because it's just, hop, skip, and a jump away, even though, I'm driving home before I head to Nashville. But you know what? I don't care because it's all part of the experience.
Hell yes. Go ahead, Scott. Now we get some hockey.
Let's go,
I know
baby.
One more thing.
You're going to be boots on
here we go, hockey day.
Yeah.
You're going to be boots on the ground at the draft Wednesday night. I don't know. I think you and Sam plan to meet up, or maybe you just plan on putting a tracker on Sam's phone so you're not staying anywhere near where he's at. But
I found your app, Jim. I deleted it.
Is there somebody outside of, we talked about the Blackhawks top 10-year plan. Is there somebody that we're looking at here other than the first round pick that is going to surprise some people?
So, obviously we know Connor Bedard's going first overall to Chicago, but there's a lot of question marks following the first overall pick. Could it be Anna Fantilli going to Anaheim? What about Leo Carlson? Will Smith in play? And then obviously the Russian, Michkov, he's in town, which is, surprising because a lot of people didn't think he was going to make the trip to Nashville, but he's here. He's going to be there. And, But yeah, there's a lot of talk about what Anaheim's going to do. Could be a lot of smoke because most people figure it's going to be Adam Fantilli, the center coming out of Michigan. But I'm not so sure. It could be Carlson. The way, they like their Swedes there in Anaheim. They like the Europeans. But I think it's going to be Fantilli that goes too because there's just a lot of talk around it. But, those are the guys that I'm watching. Obviously, I'm trying to see what Montreal's trying to do. There's been a lot of talk. They're trying to get into the top 4 to draft Will Smith. But, again, what do they want to give up? How much are they giving up? And what are teams looking for in return? That's always going to be the big question. And they have their hands in a lot of stuff. Obviously, Pierre-Luc Dubois, they're looking at a center. But, again, what are they giving up to get Dubois? Because the Kings are with him. So there's just a lot of action moving after the first overall pick, which, by the way, I think, Scott's going to want me to talk about that trade that happened today, too.
Yeah.
To that trade, also, there was an article up here in Boston saying that Linus Ullmark expects to be traded at some point in the next couple of weeks here. So obviously the salary dumps have started for the Bruins, but what do you think about the trade and Ullmark's comments?
Yeah, I mean, look, Ullmark, I don't know if you would want to give up a guy who's won 40 games for you. Like, I'm just not sure about that. Maybe the guy Swayman, because you have the AHL goalie coming up and they just signed him to a new deal. So you could roll with that, and then Swayman goes on the market. You could trade for him, not qualify him, stuff like that. But the trade for Taylor Hall is really interesting because I had been saying it for weeks, and yes, you can. If we have sound for this, eventually we will. The Biringer bomb, let it go again, because I told you guys for weeks that Taylor Hall was going to be a cap casualty for this team because they want to re-sign Tyler Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi is such a fit for this team. He is a Bruin. What he did in the playoffs, how he did it in the playoffs, he's just a typical Bruin. As much as they want to try to keep Orlov, I just don't know if they can make the money work, considering who else they have to sign. You have Trent Fredericks do a new contract. Swayman's do a new contract. Again, they have to clear money. And how else were going to do it? Well, you get rid of $2 million, 2 years at $6 million, and Chicago takes it. Now Chicago gets Taylor Hall, and he goes around Connor Bedard, and then Hall doesn't like to play third line minutes on a championship team. Well, now you're going to get the first line minutes you want, bud, and you're going to be playing with one of the best players that is coming from this draft. So look out, because you got what you wanted. It's a good pickup, but again, Bruins wanted to clear cap space to allow for the potential to re-sign Tyler Bertuzzi, which I think they will. But again, it's how much of that $6 million do they want to re-sign him at?
Yeah.
And I'll work on that sound, Jim. I'll work on that sound.
Yeah.
What about the Flyers trade being held up by the CBA quirk? They want to they're trying to trade D'Angelo back to the Hurricanes. What is the quirk in the CBA that's holding this up?
Yeah, I just didn't catch that. What was the whole question? I'm sorry.
The Flyers are trying to trade Tony D'Angelo back to the Hurricanes, and there's a quirk in the CBA that they're trying to loophole or get around. What is the quirk in the CBA? If you know.
Yeah, so the fact of the matter is the NHL is looking into it because of cap circumvention, because the Flyers are trying to just offload the contract back to a team that he was just a free agent a year ago, and he didn't sign with Carolina, and they're just trying to trade him back there, and that's the issue, and that's the holdup, because they're looking into it because it's cap circumvention or potentially. So it's going to be interesting to see what the NHL rules on that, because of like I said, because he was a free agent and he signed was traded to the Flyers and signed the contract. Mm-hmm. You can't just send the player back the following year and not send the whole contract back. And I think that's what the holdup is.
Okay.
Hey, Jim, the Preds, Barry Trotz made his first move and traded Ryan Johansson for Alex Galchenyuk, I think is how it's said. I can't be.
Yes,
I could be
you got that right.
Hey, look at that. Hey, yeah. Yeah, look at me. Look at me now, Ma. But that's the first Trotsy move. Do you think there'll be others? And was that trade worth it?
Oh, it was a great trade. It was a great trade because I also have been saying for weeks now, and even longer than that the Colorado Avalanche needed a second-line center, and they didn't have one. Gabriel Landeskog is going to be lost for another year. This was an area they needed to address at the trade deadline, and they didn't do it. They just didn't do it because they thought Landeskog was going to come back, and he didn't. Now, the fact that the Preds have to retain salary, okay, that's fine. It's only $4 million for the next 2 years. It's a great trade-off. And Colorado gets a second line. The problem with Johansson is he hasn't been healthy, but when he's healthy, he's really good. And Kenyuk's going to go walk the free agency. They're not going to re-sign him. So the Preds are doing what they're supposed to be doing and getting out of the murky middle. Are they going to go full rebuild? We're going to see because there's a lot of talk about UC Saros being traded out of Nashville.
Yeah.
Jim, how long is the draft in hockey? How many rounds is that? Because I have no idea.
So it's 7 rounds. The first night is the first round, and rounds 2 through 7 are on Thursday. So back in 2013, they did a long-ass day for everybody. So they like to do round 1, like the NFL draft likes to do round 1 and on the first night. And then they do the other rounds on the next day. So 7 rounds total. You can find guys, if you have great scouting, deep in rounds 4 through 7 that make the National Hockey League. We've seen it. If you have good scouts and good scouting departments and good drafting and developing, you can find guys that can make the NHL later in the round.
Who is the team in the draft you're watching really closely, Jim, to see what they do?
Uh-oh. What was the question? I'm sorry.
There we go.
Who is the team you're watching in the draft really closely to see what they do?
So one team I'm looking at in the draft right now is I'm looking at St. Louis and how many picks they're going to use, right? They have 3 first-round picks, and I think that one of their picks was part of that trade that they wanted to try to move Torrey Cruz, but obviously he used his no trade clause to get Kevin Hayes out of there. But St. Louis has got 3 picks. I want to see what they're going to use with those picks to see what they're going to get. But it's, there's so many eyes on the top 10 and the movement and who could get in, because there's talk of teams trading that are not in the first round to trade back deep because the draft is just so deep.
Hey, Jim, we'll get you out of here. One last question. I'm going to about tennis here. Who you got winning the men's and women's Wimbledon? Because that's getting ready to kick off here.
Next week, I think, right?
Busted out the Wimbledon.
Yeah, next week, Wimbledon, the championship start. I would put Djokovic as my favorite to win on the gentleman's side, and on the ladies' side, I'm gonna go with Elena Rybakina. I think she can defend her title. So back-to-back champs are gonna reign at the All England Club. I'm gonna go with that.
I like it.
I like it, Jim. Jim, drive safe. Drive safe, and don't let Sam get you in trouble down there in Nashville.
I'm going to take you down.
Yeah,
it's just down a back alley. It's okay.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't think I'm going to have a problem with that, but it's going to be a fun time in Nashville. I hope to hook up with Sam when I'm down there. It's going to be a busy day, but you know what? It's going to be a fun time down there. And guys, thank you. I know we might have had some audio things tonight, but you know what? I'm glad to be on here doing what I do for you guys. And boots on the ground, yes, at AEW, and boots on the ground at the NHL draft. And thank you all. And I hope you guys have a great night. And thank you for the safe drive wishes.
Yep. Be careful, Jim. We'll talk
to you
take care. Next
give it up
next week. So we'll give you 2 weeks,
program. Baby. You know who it is. Full press hockey and full press wrestling. Give it up for Jim Biringer, everybody.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Talk to you later.
Take care, Jim.
Right.
Boy, I'm jealous. He got the collision and Forbidden Door. Boy,
yeah,
that
the pictures he had on Twitter were just phenomenal. Absolutely
awesome.
phenomenal.
The packed view of the stadium.
Oh yeah,
just
how
great.
high it went.
I mean, imagine going to that, and then you go to Nashville and you run into Sam. That's just the highest to the lowest of lows right there. You know?
I don't know. I get pretty high.
Sam said this morning he's taking Jim to Graceland to see the.
That's
Graceland, all right.
Hey guys, if you look at the screen here, for those listening to audio, I'm sorry you can't see it, but if you go to Jim Biringer's site, you can see it. But we'll pull it up here. This is Jim's picture of. Look at that!
Yeah, look at it.
It is
beautiful.
This is right after the Omega win, this is after CM Punk. Sorry, after CM Punk was getting booed and everything like that. Look how cool that is.
That's awesome.
I usually when you see wrestling shows, the wrestling shows I've been to have been nothing like this. Nothing like this. Like you can actually see people in the uppers versus like the first 10 rows. That's what I'm used to here.
That's a WrestleMania type crowd, and it was that type of feel. Some of those matches were last night. It was just an incredible scene. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it. I don't
weird man with the beard. Which one?
Carlos, don't do this to me. Oh, Carlos. Carlos. All right. Hey. When you get back to the States, all right, we'll have a conversation. Okay?
AEW is going to London, and they've sold, I think, close to 80,000 tickets for an event.
Yeah. Wembley,
Wembley. So
Wembley.
To see how hot that was, WWE went to Wembley. Was it 92, Nick? I believe.
Yeah, for WrestleMania or SummerSlam.
Bret Hart took on the Bulldog.
Yeah,
and I don't think there was anywhere near 80,000 in the stadium for that event. I don't remember.
Here, give me a minute.
But that's just awesome for AEW if they get 90,000 in Wembley for an event.
Oh yeah, it's a big deal. It's massive. It's good for them. Good for them.
It absolutely is.
SummerSlam 1992, Wembley Stadium had a reported attendance of 79,120.
Close. They were close.
So that's that's with the original Wembley Stadium before that.
That'll give. The other thing is the Arthur Ashe Stadium for AEW was huge too. Because
they've done that twice now. They've done that one twice.
Yeah, that gave them the capacity to do outdoor shows or whatever, and go to Wembley. Too.
Yeah.
So
we didn't have time to discuss it, but on SmackDown, being that big LA Knight fan, it's pretty rare for him to have a bigger pop than Rey Mysterio. He had a bigger pop than Rey Mysterio, and people were cheering for him.
Yeah, I saw it was a meme that said pretty much only two people have ever fans have only booed Rey Mysterio twice in his whole career, and that's when Daniel Bryan won the Royal Rumble or didn't win the Royal Rumble because of him, and last Friday night when LA Knight was
the
fans
are about to make LA Knight a face. And the hugest face possible on SmackDown.
I'm one of them. I'm right here. I want it everywhere.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. The fans are dictating to WWE and Triple H exactly what to do with LA Knight. So,
hey, there wouldn't be LA Knight without Triple H. He said in the interview it wouldn't. He said in the interview they had him as a manager, and he was like, "Hey, give me a shot here, and if it doesn't work out in a month, I'll go back." He's been there ever since.
Yeah, I mean, and the other big thing now is the Usos. They finally pulled the trigger on this
Civil War this Saturday at 2.
Money in the Bank.
Yeah, baby. I can't wait
to see what they do with.
So Jonathan's really good. Is he joining us because he's going to be celebrating? It's 11-3 LSU over Florida. It's
Lord.
In the words of Vince Carter, it's over.
It's over.
But what inning?
8th,
top of the 8th. It's over.
Eighth.
Oh yeah, they got him.
I don't know if Skeens has gotten in the game yet, but I have a
Jonathan
feeling
will be
he's
joining
gonna
us
get in
here
closer.
in the second hour of the show. We're 8 minutes away from the second hour. Guys.
Go ahead and we need to get an ad read in, Tanner. So why don't you go ahead and
Johnny's not here, is it? All right.
No.
So underdog.
Underdog.
That app is amazing. I'm going to be starting that here next month. Here, best ball drafts, NBA, MLB. You got your NFL. You got your daily showdowns. You can do like they have three-man showdowns essentially, where you draft 3 or 4 players and you play against each other for a small price. Nothing big unless you put the big money in. You go to the big side. They got really cool best ball rooms as well. A chance to win, in the $1 million prize range as well at times. So there's different rooms throughout the next few months to really look for. So that's going to be awesome. So you can do that. Download the app. Go to underdog.com. Use promo code LTS. Let's Talk Sports. LTS. Get a matching deposit of up to $100. So if you put 100 in, you get 100. You put 50 in, you get 50. And that's a great way, especially if best ball. I don't know if you guys know what best ball is, but essentially you draft your best players that you can draft, just like any other fantasy draft, but you don't have to worry about the lineup. So you don't have to remember on Sunday morning, oh crap, I forgot to take that guy out of the lineup because it's already done. So it's a great way if you want to do fantasy football, but you don't want the whole maintenance part of it throughout the season. This is your way of doing it. Use Underdog. Use the promo code LTS. Get that matching $100 and sign up for you can sign $3 rooms. You sign up to a whole bunch of rooms for $3, $5 drafts, or you can even do long drafts as well if you don't have enough time to sit there with 3 or 4 people. So it's a great app.
I did Underdog today. I did 3 best ball drafts today. Scott Fishbowl draft, best ball draft to get into next year's Scott Fishbowl. If you finish in the top 250, I did the Puppy Bowl. That Underdog site is phenomenal. It's great.
Nice.
Everybody needs to go to it and at least do one best ball. Like Tana said, it cost me $10 to do 3 drafts today. So it's phenomenal. And best ball is a great way to get yourself ready for your regular draft. As Nick Bodkins knows, he's the champion of this.
Nick's just going to go chill on the couch until draft day, listen to what Ryan says, and say, right. Oh, yeah, all right, yeah. I guess I'll draft that guy. So
I do the opposite of what Ryan says, and that's why I win, baby.
That's what it is. That's
Papa Larry will not be happy with you.
I mean, Underdogs, I don't know if you guys caught on the Buffoons channel last year during August. The month of August, I did a fantasy draft almost every night. I think I missed one night for the whole entire month. I just went an hour or 2 of we just did Underdog drafts. We did mock drafts. I used Underdog. I think I ended up with 20, 25, 30 Underdog best ball drafts from that month. And I ended up profiting $150 after the season was all done. So it worked out for me. It was a good time. And like I said, I never done best ball till last year. And that was such a great time for me that it's coming back into August for me. Big time.
The other thing is the drafts I did today, 30 seconds per pick. So you're in and out.
It's awesome.
15
it goes.
minutes total. You're done.
They also got long drafts for you guys that don't want to go sleep it off and go research and watch 6 YouTube's videos. They got the 8 to 10 hour long drafts, so it's there for you if you want it. I actually clicked in one. I'm like, why is it taking so long? Look down at the time. No, it was like 8 hours. I'm like, crap, wrong one. I actually ended up winning that one too. So.
Tanner, next ad read, can you do it like the guy that does? Sunday. Like be the grave digger. Underdog.
Hey, let me ask you guys this, Scott. I mean, it seems that Dalvin Cook is kind of flirting with the Patriots a little bit right now. You want Dalvin in your roster?
Dalvin in D-Hop?
Yeah, come on, boy. Come to New England. I'll pick you up at the airport. I'll be a chauffeur for the. Hey, listen. Come on, boy. As much talent as the Patriots can get in their facility, if they can get Cook, find a way to get Dalvin and D-Hop, both of them in under the salary structure, I'm for it because they need a lot of talent here. And it would actually give them a leg up to get into this AFC East race. So yeah, I'm for it. Ramondre's the only running back. If he goes down, it's Pierre Strong, and I'm not signing up for that. So Not even close. So, Dalvin Cook would be a welcome addition. And if he's not asking for $10, $12 million, if he's asking for like $5 million, they could fit him in under the salary cap and get him in here. So,
from all reports I've been hearing, he wants at least 10.
I know. Well, the longer he goes, he's not going to get 10 right now. He goes into late, when training camp starts, he's still not with the team. He's either going to have to sit out because he wants 10 million, or he's going to have to take 2 or 3 million.
Or he waits until a preseason injury, training camp is season injury. Like we see that stuff happen all the time. So if I'm D-Hop and Cook, in this situation, I'm waiting.
The other thing is, how much is Miami in on him? How much is Miami in on him? Doesn't seem like they're even linked to him at all.
No, not at all.
I thought it'd be a pretty big deal for Miami. I thought they'd really go in for it.
Yeah, I did too. But obviously they're happy with Mostert and Wilson and A-Chain, the guy they drafted. So I think they're going to roll with that backfield.
So your roommate says put the bottle down, Scott. No Cook here, please.
What you drinking, Scott?
What do you want, Keith?
I just think I love Ramondre. I think he's a really good running back. But if he ever got hurt, do you really want Pierre Strong as the number one running back on that team? I don't know if I would sign up for that. I mean, who else do they got? Ty Montgomery? I mean, that guy gets hurt, every other year, it seems like. So, to me, they need a second running back. And Dalvin's not going to take over the backfield. Belichick shows that in his recent past. So, if Dalvin Cook gets, 12 to 15 touches a week with Ramondre, I mean, you got to look at it. And if he's willing to take 2 or 3 million because he's desperate to play, and the Patriots are the only team that's offering him anything, he's probably going to sign. So
it's true.
I would think it'd be Patriots, really. I really would. I think they would.
Nobody else. I haven't heard anything else.
I still think the Jets. I think the Jets need to be in on both Cook and
Jets need to, but they're not going to.
Do they have the money to do it? I mean, they had to
figure it out. They're going to figure it out.
The one thing I know from the NFL, the salary cap is trash. You can circumvent it. You can circumvent it any way possible.
Kick the can down the road somehow, some way. Yeah, you
boy.
Salary cap.
Just remember, my team kicked the can down the road, and the Roosters came home to roost this year. So, just FYI, and the Rams are the same way.
The Rams have figured it out, though, a little bit. I mean, they still got some talent. I think they could still contend a little if they can stay healthy.
Yeah,
they're at least in a playoff picture. The Rams. Yeah. Cooper Kupp's back, and don't forget, he didn't tear his ACL. He hurt his ankle, I think.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's all about the quarterback. With the
he's
Rams.
fine. If Stafford stays healthy, that Rams offense could be okay. So
yeah, but
agree.
Yeah,
it's the defense that's awful.
It's all
the defense that's awful.
Well, I mean, I don't like to call defense that still has Sam Darnold or Aaron Darnold on it awful, just because to me, I'm one of the biggest. I think Aaron Donald's one of the best defensive players to ever play this game.
It's a mid to bottom half defense.
Is it as good as it once was? That when they won the Super Bowl, absolutely not.
Yeah, no. It's not going to be a top 15, but it's not going to be a bottom 30. You know what I mean? It's going to be in the 25 to 15 range this year.
Yeah. Sam, we kind of talked about it on the Off the Rails show yesterday. Antonio Brown has come out and said it's Tom Brady's fault. He's not in the NFL. And what's your thoughts on AB?
Guy has problems, and I mean it's just obvious. I mean, look, he took money out of the account to pay his arena team, for God's sake. I mean, this kind of guy we're dealing with. Oh, geez, sorry. Just fans just said Mayo power in the comments, and it erased everything I was talking about. No, look, to be honest with you, that guy hasn't been right since since I think Burfict laid him out.
Yeah,
in the middle of the games, and if you're looking at like CTE or something, I think you start with that guy because he's been nothing but trouble and problems, and just acting out is all get out. But like even taking money away from the arena team and those players was that's pretty crappy.
Well, they kicked him out of the league, him and his team out of the league.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you listen to the podcast that he was on with Tyreek Hill, it was as I said yesterday, it was a bunch of kissing each other's butts. Tyreek, Cheetah, you're the greatest. Antonio, you're the one that got us into the league. These smaller receivers and stuff. It just was, and the co-host on the Tyreek Hill podcast was just like he was as quiet as anything half the time. So.
He trying to collect his paycheck, Scott. That's why.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so, Tyreek's such a stand-up guy too. Let's not forget. You know.
So to me, Antonio, detailed exactly. He said his leg was bothering him, and he didn't know if he could play, and the Buccaneers made him play. And
which that part is he's been consistent with.
That's right. And then I guess he said Tom Brady called him on Tuesday and said, "I'm going to throw you the ball 10 or 12 times. You're going to get the ball a lot. Be ready." And then Antonio Brown said he was all pumped up for the game. And then he got in the game, and it was like nothing. And so that's when he said, "F you all," and he took off his jersey and he ran. That's why he ran out, because he thought the Buccaneers were against him all season long.
Better ways of handling it, though. My goodness.
But Sam, I mean, have you never worked for a job or had a job where you want to tell your boss to go, pretty much go fuck himself?
Yep.
Most of the time, I'm just kind of happy to have a job and pave the road. You know what I mean? Hey, Sam, twin girls. Yes, sir. Whatever you say, sir. Yes. So, but no, I mean, look, I get it. I feel bad for the guy. He seems like somebody that has a lot of issues that need to be worked out. We talked about this. It's like Ja Morant. You really want somebody to help Ja Morant because he's such a special talent. Antonio Brown was a great talent too. And it's just kind of sad to see somebody act out like that. Though it was kind of humorous when he took off his shirt and started running through the end zone and everything. I just remember watching Red Zone, and I was like, okay. Oh, for heaven's sake. Keith, come on, man.
Keith. That is right, Keith.
Nothing's better than Scott going, Keith, get off the comments.
But it all started with the Perfect hit. As soon as Perfect laid him out and he got the
catch,
it did. That's when it snapped in his head that something was wrong. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So to me, he's not going to take anybody's help. He just is not. So,
Mom, meatloaf. Mom.
Yeah. Mom. somebody helping him out is never going to happen because he just won't take it. He just won't take it.
People have reached out. We know people have reached out.
Yeah.
No doubt.
He's just not going to do it.
No doubt.
Let's go ahead and bring in our guest, a guy who I think yesterday was in a worse mood than he is today. I see him. He's got the victory cigar ready. We talked about it. This guy's got to be the luckiest SOB. His girls basketball team is national champions, and now his baseball team's about to be national champions. Give it up. His mom could kick everybody's ass on LTS. I guarantee it. She's a professional fighter. She probably needs to kick his ass for about the stuff this braggadocious behavior that's about to spew out of his mouth. Give it up for Jonathan Grisham, baby.
Boo. Guardians.
Oh, look at it. Where's the champagne?
Hey, champagne doesn't get busted open until the last out is made.
That's the way to do it.
All right, the cigar is not lit. The cigar is out. The cigar is out, but it's not lit yet.
It's not lit.
I told
not ready.
I told you guys earlier. Florida creamed LSU yesterday. I, as quick as I could, put money on LSU because I knew it wouldn't happen again. And LSU was going to turn it around. So,
you know what they say. You know what they say, Jonathan. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. But Sam's mom's been singing for a minute, so you can go ahead and light that cigar.
It's field goal, and it's so funny too. So
very lovely voice.
It's funny. So all the girls, again, my team that I coached this past weekend, like I got a couple of girls that they want my teams to lose. They just mess with me and everything like that. So yesterday's game against Florida, like we beat game one, and I'm like, yeah, hey, I'm doing the Gator chomp on them and like that. Hey, you suck. Hey, Gators suck. And so the 24-4 score happens, and my phone was just blowing up.
At that point in time, you just got to shut it off, right? You just shut it off.
No, because all my response was this. My response was this to them: Game 3. We still got Game 3 to go. And at the end of the day, it's what they're like. Well, they even asked me, how would they come back? How would a team come back if they're losing by 20 runs? You turn the page. Right. You have to turn the page. I was like, I teach y'all that. No matter if we win a game by 10 runs or we lose a game by 10 runs, you still got to turn the page no matter what. So you turn the page and get ready for the next game.
Yeah. Somebody once said, be a goldfish, right? What's his name from the, Apple show? His name's eluding me all of a sudden. But be a goldfish. 30-second memory.
And the other thing that LSU know is they had Skeens in their pocket. If they needed to use him tonight, they could use him for 3 or 4 innings. But they don't need to use him, obviously. Well, Florida scored 14 or 4 now. But
they still will, just to give him a standing ovation send off, though. They're still going to pitch him in the ninth anymore, likely.
Bottom of the ninth.
Just to have him send off. Because you let the best pitcher, let one of, if not the best pitcher in LSU history, get 1 inning in the College World Series final. Absolutely, sure. Get him come and close it out there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Stats. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Stats. Appreciate it, Bubba.
Thanks, Stats. Yeah,
yes,
Jonathan.
yes.
They said these 3. There's 3 players playing tonight. Probably going to be the first 3 picks in the draft. What's your thoughts on all 3 of those guys? 2 of those guys, obviously the LSU, and then the kid from Florida.
You're talking about Dylan Cruz, who's the Golden Spikes Award winner, and he's fulfilled the hype that came in from high school. He was one of the top prospects in high school, and he turned down draft pick money to go to pro ball, to go to LSU, and all he's done is just get better. And that's something that it's just unheard of. Someone who's a top player go to college and just gets even better. They're trying to figure out what is he going to be. I mean, he's going to be a center fielder. He's a really good. We saw it tonight. If you watch some of the game, some of the plays he made in the ground, he covers. He's not super fast. That's the thing about it. Like but he makes great reads in the outfield. Like he's going to be a very good outfielder, and he's going to make a lot of money in his career by being a center fielder, just from how he can cover ground and make plays. The bat is amazing. Batted over 400 all season. Home runs. He's got power. He's a 5-tool player. So there's a reason he's the number 1 pick. He's going to be the number 1 pick. He should be the number 1 pick if the Pittsburgh Pirates are smart about it and make him the future there. You put him in the outfield with Brian Reynolds in the next. I know this is 2-3 years down the road, but Brian Reynolds, who just signed a contract, you put him in center field out there, and you have a core to build around in the field, in the batting order from there. But he's going to be. I mean, the bat is amazing. He's, like I said, he just does a lot of things really good, and he's a 5-tool because of it. So I mean, he's number 1 pick for sure. Should be number 4. The number 2 guy, Paul Skeens, any other year, he is the number 1 pick. And to talk about Skeens, he's the best college pitcher since Steven Strasburg. And we all remember what Strasburg did at San Diego State and what how the hype was around him. My opinion of what I've watched and I've seen and I've scouted, and I've just put kind of scouting reports of Skeens. Skeens is light years ahead of Strasburg because of the size of the body too. So Strasburg wasn't really a big guy. And I actually got some of the parents that I was actually at practice a little bit ago. They were asking me a little bit of the difference of Skeens and Strasburg when they were in college. Strasburg wasn't a big guy. Strasburg was comparable, and Nick, you might agree with this, to Mark Pryor. Pryor wasn't a big guy, but he was just a super talented pitcher who sustained a lot of injuries in his career and it derailed him. Well, what do we see from Strasburg? Strasburg is dealing with a lot of injuries, and his career is probably over because of the injuries he had. And the velocity he threw with his body couldn't handle that. Skeens is 6'5", 235. It's a big boy. And he effortlessly throws 100 miles an hour. Like, if you just – it's like, they talk about it. Ben McDonald talks about it all the time when, does LSU games on ESPN. It's like he's playing catch at 100 miles an hour. It's so effortless, and he's not overexerting himself. That's why he can go and throw 125, 129, 130 pitches and still throw 100 miles an hour on the 129th pitch, because it's just the body is able to handle that and just make it effortless to exertion to go and handle that velocity, 100, 101, 102 by that length of duration. So guys like Strasburg, who 205, 210, maybe 215, body can can handle it for a period of time. Skeens is going to handle that for a long time in his career. They compared him, a lot of the ESPN analysts compared Paul Skeens to Roger Clemens. Bigger guy, tall guy, thicker guy, and it was just effortless motion that can throw, upper 90s to 100 miles an hour if needed from there. That's Paul Skeens. And the conversation of, is there ever a pitcher we could see get drafted from college to go straight to the major leagues? Paul Skeens is that. He's that good and he's that ready with his stuff. Could he fine-tune like his slider and changeup? Could, but he's got major league stuff ready stuff now. And, again, whoever drafts it, if it's Pirates to draft him number 1 or if it's Nationals, they're getting – and if you think about that, if you're Washington Nationals, you went with Strasburg for, a good portion of time with his career, and now you turn around and you get Paul Skeens. I don't think anybody in D.C. is going to be very upset about that aspect, that you have Strasburg for his career as number 1 pick, and you turn it over to the future that Paul Skeens is going to be from there. Wyatt Langford from Florida, he is not as the hype that came with Dylan Cruz. He was the unranked player that just turned himself into a superstar. And he is, right there along with one of the best outfielders in the country, power, like this, and he's another big guy who plays good outfield and does a lot of things well. But he's a thicker guy than Dylan Cruz, who's got probably more power. He's got A+ power, where a lot more than what Dylan does at LSU. So again, you can roll a dice with any of these 3 guys, and you won't be wrong. That's how good all 3 of them are.
Florida's got the projected number 1 pick next year, and they call him Jack Tani, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the guy's hitting 400-foot bombs and striking out dudes. How good is there's no way he's Shohei, right? Like, I mean, I know they're calling Jack Tani, but
no, and you kind of see it. So I project Cagliani to be a hitter. I mean, again, you're 6'5", 235, 240-ish. Your first baseman that just has an amazing power. That's something you don't see. You saw tonight. He's got if he wants to be a two-way pitcher, kind of like Shohei, he's got a lot of work to do on his mechanics and a lot of work to do to be consistent to handle it. He didn't pitch well tonight. He didn't pitch well at all. So it's one of those things where you kind of look and say, yeah, you have arm talent. You definitely have arm talent to be a pitcher at the professional level. But the consistency side is what you got to fix and be able to handle. This should not have happened tonight. If you're that good and you're to that level, you shouldn't be going only 2 or 3 innings. You should have pitched and be able to dominate to a portion of it, what he does hitting-wise. So is he a good pitcher? Yes, I'm not taking anything away. He is a very good pitcher. I think he's a better hitter. And I think the major league teams that draft him next year, they're going to sit there and say, we want you to hit more than we want you to pitch. Your arm talent is there, yes, but your bat is A+. You have an A arm versus an A+ bat. I think more so you're going to be that. Will they give him a chance to do both? Yes, they will. But if he struggles out the gate in the minors next year after getting drafted, they're going to say, no, this pitching's done. You're just going to be a hitter and you're just going to be a first baseman at that point.
You think there's a chance where he goes hitting and then goes, instead of being a starter like Ohtani, he becomes a relief guy that they put in? Do you think that's any chance of that happening? Because that seems weird as no other if you're going to do it that way.
I don't think anybody really wants to try that, though.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wants to try and see it because, again, you said we've never seen anybody do that. Shohei is a starter. And so how do you? So the hard part is how do you plan to use them in relief? Right. Like I don't think there's a way that you can look at it and say, yeah, you're going to be a hitter, and then by the way, hey, you got
relief time.
You got 5-10 minutes to go get yourself loose to pitch.
I saw Travis Wood. I saw Travis Wood do it for the Cubs once. He pitched, got sent to left field, and then brought back into pitch.
Yeah, the very rare. Insert your starter.
I mean, he's a pitcher, but they put him in left field. It was a weird situation that Joe Madden did one time, and it was so absurd. It was so absurd to kind of see, and so that's why I don't think anybody really wants to see that be the case where you have a batter that is a relief pitcher type of situation. I just don't think there's any way you can plan out to use a guy like that. And if these guys can't have a plan to utilize, there's no point in doing it. And like I said, that just puts a lot of stress. Like, how are you gonna take them out to go put them in the bullpen and get loose or whatnot? Like, there's just so many variables that takes place that I don't think you can really utilize a guy as a relief pitcher that's also a fielder / hitter
at that level. That would be tough. That would be tough. I mean, if they use him as a pitcher, yeah, then he probably could be a relief pitcher, closer type of guy, just because he throws hard, 95 to 97. He touched 99, tonight, beginning part of the game. So the velo is there. Probably a short burst kind of guy to go 1 or 2 innings as a relief pitcher. But again, if you're going to draft a guy high, be a number 1 pick, you're not drafting him to be a relief pitcher. You're drafting him to be a starter at that point. So it's one of those, like, how do you evaluate him and what he does best? Is it a pitcher or is it a hitter? The comparisons of Shohei, I think it's unfair. Shohei is doing things we've never seen before. So you can't say, yeah, he's the next Shohei Ohtani. Well, and we had a chance to see it. If Cagliari went 6 innings and shut down LSU, different conversation probably had right now. But it's different doing it against the best team, the best offense in the country at LSU, and doing it during the regular season at Florida against University of South Florida, doing it against even doing it against some of the SEC teams. If you go against shut down Auburn, okay, yeah, okay. You had your chance to do it on the biggest show, biggest stage. You didn't look good doing it. So I don't evaluate Cagliari as a pitcher. I think he'll make a lot more money for himself as a hitter because of the power he has.
Let's go back to Skeens for 1 minute before we move on. If the Pirates, let's play this out. The Pirates draft him number 1. Do you see him pitching in the majors in 2024 at the end, or do you think they should wait until 2025?
I think I think he could. If you're asking me if it's my decision to do so, I think no. I don't think they would do it. I don't think I would do it. Right. What's the benefit right now? What's the benefit for him? What's the benefit for the team? If you look at it and say, hey, Pirates are in a race, and they say, hey, you know what? Skeens probably could be someone that could just step in and eat an inning or 2 in September that really help us go into that race and give guys that are a little bit more time to rest up. Okay, get his feet wet there. Like I said, he's major league ready. He is major league ready.
Yeah.
But what is the benefit for him to do that? Now, he could, if he shows up and goes 6 innings in his first professional start, 6 innings in the big leagues, and strikes out 12 hitters and gives up 2 hits with 1 run, maybe he doesn't go to the minors at all. Right. But I mean, at the time, it's such a crapshoot to even think about that and say, yeah, this is what probably need to do. Could he? I think he could. If you're asking me if I'm the general manager of the Pirates to say would I do that? No, I wouldn't. I'd let him go to the minors, get his feet wet in professional baseball, get him acclimated to the regime that we how you pitch in the professionals, keep your routine, but at the same time you have to follow the routine that professionals do. Get used to traveling a little bit differently. Handle the nuances of professional ball, and then, hey, we'll see you in 2024, 2025. In 2025 spring training, you'll be in the big league club. From there, we'll send you to AAA for 2 months, and we'll see you in the big leagues in July and June of 2025.
And LSU just added 2 runs in the 9th. It's 16-4 now.
I think they got their payback.
Turn out the lights.
Oh, yeah. You knew it was coming, right? I mean, these are college kids. These aren't pros. Pros college kids go out for revenge and want to stomp in your freaking throat. That's what
they were swarming mad after yesterday, 24.
Oh, they were.
Well, like I said, you listen to their press conference after the game, and they're like, we already forgot about it. We're ready for tomorrow. See y'all tomorrow. Yeah. I mean, that's the mindset of, I'm not to be a homer of it, but it's the LSU mindset. We've seen it in the 90s, the team of the 90s, LSU, Skip Bertman was just a powerhouse team that was just built to the 2000s, that we were kind of just there a little bit. But the MO of LSU baseball is back. The best, and again, my opinion here, take my opinion, but LSU baseball being what they are the big brand of college baseball. LSU baseball is back. And that is scary for the rest of the teams in college baseball, because they have the recruiting going. They have the NIL right now. The NIL is big at LSU. They have the NIL money. They spend, I think they said they spent $5 million in NIL, as far as getting NIL money for baseball alone. The recruiting is there. The facilities are there. I mean, I'm sure none of y'all have ever been to Alex Box Stadium, the new one. It's better than minor league ballparks. It's much better than minor league ballparks. You play in front of 15,000 fans on a weekend. I joke with Alan and Scott on Tuesdays with them at times, jokingly, half jokingly, but they completely have more they double the attendance that Oakland A's and Tampa Bay Rays get.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay Rays are in first place.
Yeah, and they get more fans. LSU.
They should move that team out of there.
LSU gets more fans than both Tampa Bay and Oakland do on a weekend series. When you had the Tennessee series this year in Baton Rouge, you had 14,000 people, standing room only, going at that in a weekend regular season series. Yeah. I mean, it's insane what LSU baseball is and what it means to the state. And it means a whole lot more to the state, for Louisiana than what the Tampa Bay Rays means to Florida. But I digress on that.
And they said Omaha was like LSU at home. There was so many LSU fans there. It was crazy.
It's 80%. It's about 80% LSU fans even out there right now. Which I don't know. Have y'all seen about the? I love to put out this real quick. Have y'all seen the College World Series Jello shot challenge that they got going on out there? Yeah. Have y'all seen what they have right now?
No. I know Florida was up when I saw it last.
No. It was never up. So. The record last year was set by Ole Miss. It was 18,000 Jello shots sold in the entire week of College World Series. All right, and it's a beautiful and it's a great thing that the bar that does it, Rocco's Pizzeria and Bar, they do a great thing. They sell these Jello shots. They have a contest going. It's $5. It's $5. Yeah, it's actually 67,000 Jello shots now. But $5 Jello shots. And
oh my God!
Sounds like my bachelor party.
It's insane. LSU fans had the one thing. Their one mindset was we're beating the record by Ole Miss before the first weekend ends, and they broke it on. They broke it Tuesday morning. They broke that record, and they just went. So, but it's a great thing that they do it. They all the proceeds, all the money that's generated from the Jello shots, they donated to the Omaha Food Bank. So LSU fans alone have contributed over $300,000 to the Omaha Food Bank.
Is that 866 for Virginia?
Yes,
that is 8067. Oh, sorry. 866. Yeah.
Put on your spectacles, Scott.
Well, that's West Virginia. They were further turn into West Virginia.
LSU had 8 times more Jello shots than Virginia fans. That's crazy. Oh my God. They brought LSU back every year in the College World Series.
I told you, Omaha loves LSU being in the College World Series. They love it because all they do is just party, drink, and watch baseball, and they love their teams, especially if they're in the finals right now. This is the best thing, and LSU just hit a home run too, so even better. One? Yep, even better. Let's go.
Jonathan, I want to ask you real quick. How good is this Ellie De La Cruz guy? Here's a stat for you from ESPN Stats. He's the first player in the World Series since World Series era since 1903 to record 20 hits, 5 stolen bases, and 3 home runs in his first 15 games. Is he the real deal, or is it just nobody's got any tape on him, and that's why he's so good? Or should I, as a Cub fan, be worried about this guy for the next 20 years?
So, yes, no, and yes. All right, let me go in that way. He is the real deal. He is as good as advertised, as fast as he is, as strong as he is. He's exciting and electric. He is the real deal. And what he did against the Braves in Game 1, hitting for the cycle, was tremendous. Yeah. Now you saw. Now the next question I said no. In essence of is they don't have a lot of tape on him, but the Braves made adjustments to him in Game 2 and 3, and he did absolutely nothing against Atlanta. And they pitch to him differently. So now you don't think every team that plays the Reds from here on out is going to figure out, hey, we have to follow this formula to try to get him out. He's going to be a little bit undisciplined within it. So maybe we got to change our strategy on how we go attack him. And once you have more teams know how to pitch to you, it's going to be harder. So is he really talented? Yes. Is he the real deal? Yes. Are the teams going to figure him out? Yes.
But it's on him to make those adjustments.
Correct. And I think he's talented enough and he's good enough to make those adjustments. So the next question I said, yes, that you should be worried as a Chicago Cubs fan. Absolutely. You should be very worried about Elly De La Cruz being the phenom of the NL Central and having this team be a potential, being a superstar on this team to maybe
rallied around him. That team is just I mean, the city, the team is just they were a dump for so long, and all of a sudden this kid comes along and they're winning ball games.
Yeah. And you've seen this with guys like that before, where you had Ronald Acuna with the Braves, you had Michael Harris last year for the Braves. You see these young guys that get called up with a lot of fanfare and excitement. Who's the number one prospect, and it's just like the fan base came alive. And as a player, when you play in a stadium that you just walk out and you feel the energy and electricity, my goodness, that feels amazing. And you think those Reds players didn't realize that, like, they're here because of him? Okay, yeah, we like this. We're going to play hard because the fans are here now. Oh, by the way, we played in front of a sellout crowd 3 straight days against the Braves. We're going to play hard. And kudos. Brian Snitker said that was one of the hardest series we've had in a long time, not just 2023, but in a long time. Coming from a World Series manager, team that's won 5 straight division titles on the road to 6 straight now, and he had that much praise for the Reds team and that much praise for what they've been able to do. That's Elly De La Cruz. That is and not all him, but that's a lot of the energy he has brought, and he shows up and plays hard. How many young guys we see that get called up and they struggle a little bit and just kind of, all right, I'm going to coast here. I'm going to go. That kid plays hard. He plays absolutely hard. He beat out a ground ball to first base by Jose Abreu against the Astros. That's not supposed to happen, but he did. So it's a lot of fun, and the team is they're rallying around the kid, and the fan base is rallying around the kid, and they're excited about it. And Cincinnati baseball right now has meaningful baseball.
Another team that has meaningful baseball, and I want to get how worried you're on them catching the Braves is the Miami Marlins now. They got the kid who's batting 400 almost. They have this Yuri Perez whose ERA is down to 1.34. His last six starts, 33 innings, 20 hits, 9 walks, 38 strikeouts, 0.27 ERA. The Marlins, this was yesterday, 45-34, and have the 3rd best run differential in the National League. How worried are you about the Marlins catching your Braves?
I'm not really worried, because here's the thing about it for the Braves is they're getting healthier here pretty soon. Max Fried had a bullpen session today, and he's going to have another one tomorrow. And he's going to get closer and closer as we get to July, which was the timeline. Max Fried's going to be back in July, probably after the All-Star break is when they were going to bring him back. So when you couldn't, as hot as the Marlins have been in what they've in kind of the ball they've played, the Braves have matched them, and they've built their lead. 2 games here and there, but you're building your lead still by having to play hard, which I'm happy. Hey, Marlins keep winning, because that just means my Braves have to keep playing harder as well. But you're doing this with the Braves are doing it with Bryce Elder, who's a rookie.
Yep.
Spencer Strider hasn't pitched great. He's pitched well, but he hasn't pitched great. Charlie Morton has pitched well, hasn't pitched great. AJ Smith-Shawver gave you a couple starts, decent starts. Mike Soroka gave you a couple starts, decent starts. You haven't had consistent pitching in the starting rotation. You're still winning games. The bullpen has been inconsistent at times, and the Braves are still winning games. So if you're the Marlins, you're sitting and go, what do we have to do to chip away, not just to be like to pass the Braves, but to chip their lead? And because the Marlins have played well, and they're getting healthy too. Jazz Chisholm came off the IL today, so he's back. He's going to provide a little bit more on the offensive side. But if you're the Marlins, you're like, what do we need to do? We're winning games. We're competitive. We're playing well, but they're playing better than us right now still. So as a Braves fan, I'm not terribly worried, because, again, the Braves are getting healthier as well as the Marlins, but the Braves are getting healthier at the right spots. They're getting production from Marcell Ozuna. You're getting production from Ozzie Albies batting 2 now. Matt Olson is still hitting home runs. Riley's got to be the one who's got to figure it out a little bit more. Austin Riley, I'm a little bit concerned with him, his inconsistency, but you know what he brings and what he can do. So if he can get it figured out, that team has the lineup's just getting better. So there's a lot of question marks that the Braves have answered at times, while the Marlins have been hot, and they still have the 6.5 game lead over the Marlins. So I would be more concerned for the Marlins to sit there and go, we have to figure something out to get closer to the Braves, more so than I'm sitting here saying I'm worried about the Marlins catching us.
So the Marlins the second best team in that division? Right? I mean, right now they are, but overall, do you think that at the end of the year they'll be right there and maybe a wild card?
Yes. Yep. I don't trust the Mets. I don't trust what they're doing. They had holes in the
every day, more and more every day. So that's
they've had holes in the roster, and they built. It's the same team, as I said to you guys on different shows at different times. It's the same team that blew a 10-game lead twice.
Shoo.
So how do you feel confident that you can sit here and say you're going to be this is the year that you're going to beat Atlanta in the division if you had the same team and you couldn't do it prior? So Mets, they can get hot, they can do it, but I just don't have a lot of trust and faith that the Mets are going to be the one to do it. Phillies have been up and down. They're offensively they can. I think they can make a run offensively, but their pitching has been the biggest question mark too throughout this season. The bullpen has just been horrendous. Starting pitching has not been good as well. Aaron Nola had a good start against the Braves the other last week, but that was one of the few times he has pitched well in his last few starts too. So the Marlins are the team that are young, exciting. They do a lot of things really well. They have power in the areas that they could score runs. They have some good pitching. Sandy Alcantara has not pitched really all that well either. So you can look and say their ace hasn't pitched great, but we know at some point he's going to. So yeah, the Marlins are the second best team in that division. They're going to be in the run for a wild card spot, and they'll be a dangerous team in the postseason in the National League as well.
Let's go to the American League for a minute. And Alan, who's the biggest Texas Rangers fan on the network, talk about the Texas Rangers. I'm really concerned. Their bullpen is not doing anything. They blew another game yesterday. I know they have the AL West lead, but their bullpen is holding them back from extending this lead and being better. So talk about the Texas Rangers and how concerned you are overall for them with the constitution of the team right now.
As of right now, how the roster is constructed, I'm very concerned with them because, again, pitching matters for a team that you're trying to be a contender in the American League with. You're trying to contend with. Again, look at the teams that are leading right now. As far as in the American League, the number one team, the Tampa Bay Rays, they pitch very well, and they played the Rangers, just a few weeks ago, and the pitching just absolutely it took control of that series against the Rangers. Pitching matters, especially as a playoff team, as a postseason team. You need to have that arms to be able to go and throw and say, "Hey, we're gonna rely on these guys to go and shut an offense down." Rangers don't have that. They have kind of been a patchwork when they brought in guys like Nathan Eovaldi. They brought in guys like Jake Odorizzi. Your big signing is out for the year in DeGrom. You were kind of hoping your starting pitching could give you more to let your bullpen at times eat some innings and go from there. Yeah. But that hasn't been the case where the starting pitching has. Nathan Eovaldi's pitched very well. Very surprising. I know you're pretty surprised at how well he's pitched this season, Scott. But at the same time, your bullpen has not done their job. They have, in blue leads where you're trying to separate yourself from the Astros. You're trying to separate yourself and get a bigger lead and put them away early. Separate yourself from the Angels. Angels been playing well, and your bullpen is really what's preventing that from happening to where you can have control of this division. You don't have control of the division right now if you're the Rangers, and because you don't trust your bullpen, they're going to. So, and here's the hard part. We said this before a few weeks ago. They're one of the many teams that is going to be looking for bullpen arms at the trade deadline.
Yes. Yeah.
So how do you improve it? Well, you're going to have to, and I'm sure Alan's not going to want to hear this. If you want to get some arms, you have to probably trade Jack Leiter. You're going to have to trade your future, which that's a scary thing because your present that you just signed to a big contract is coming off of Tommy John surgery in Jacob deGrom, where Jack Leiter is the future. But if you need an arm, you need arms. I'm going to say for the Rangers, you need arms, in the bullpen and probably another starter just to kind of get. You're going to have to trade Jack Leiter. And so, if you're the Rangers, do you really want to go down that road? I don't think so. So how do you improve? How do you bring in an arm or two to help this bullpen stretch out a little bit more and be able to run away the division that you're inclined to do so right now. When the Astros are struggling, the Angels you don't really have trust in the Angels. You're going to have to find ways to get yourself better. And I don't know if they're going to have enough to do it to make that move to improve that team. So I'm concerned. I'm very concerned if I'm the Rangers, if I'm a Rangers fan. I'm very concerned if I'm Allen, because my team is the first place team is very sketchy at best right now.
I mean, are they a team? Are they a team that's like looking over their shoulders, like, LSU must? Are they a team that's looking over their shoulders, like, where are the Astros? They got to be coming. LSU.
Sorry, we just won. Ball game just won.
Well, this interview just went out the window.
No.
So is Texas a team that is like looking over their shoulders, saying, "Where are the Astros? They got to be coming, but they're not coming." I mean, do you get that feeling?
I don't think you have to worry about them.
Yeah,
right,
Scott, I don't think the Astros are something you should balk at. You know,
at the moment.
No, because
Cat, nice one.
Thank you. I was waiting for somebody to catch it. I was like, no, okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm very worried. Again, because you're looking over your shoulder at the Astros because they are a World Series. They're the World Series champions. They're the champions right now. They've been the best team in the division for God knows how many years right now. So the whole
decade.
Yeah. So to the whole saying, to be the best, you got to beat the best. That doesn't end until the season ends in October, and you have officially took the title away from them. So, they have played in the biggest games. They have come back and made rallies and won games to make that run. So if I'm the Rangers, I'm not scoffing at them right now, saying, hey, we'll worry about them. If they get closer, we'll worry about them. I'm not taking my foot off the gas until September 30th or October 1st until the season ends on the Rangers. You can't do it. And it's not, you're still a young team. You're a little naive at times as well. So you have to make sure you play hard and win games when you need to win games right now, because again, the Astros, as up and down as they've been, and we talk about the Dodgers, and you have to say the same thing about the Astros, that just something's missing about that team. They can turn a light switch on and just win 5, 6, 7, 8 games in a row. You still get to play them here if more times throughout the season. If you're the Rangers, those games can chip that lead away from you if you don't take it seriously and don't play them seriously, and they could steal that division away very easily. So I'm not turning a blind eye to the Astros. I'm not sitting here saying, well, hey, they're not the same team. They're old, and we're young and exciting. We're fresh. We got this division wrapped up at the end of June. No, I'm keeping an eye on them all year, just until the season ends October 1st or whatnot, until that division title is ours.
Would you think
by the way, they get crushed by
offense
Detroit tonight? They'll get crushed. Yeah, so.
Do you think the best offense in baseball, which is the Rangers, can maybe, I guess, help this bullpen situation that they have? Can let's say Rangers don't make a move the trade deadline, and now you're in August here, and in your 4 games from the Astros, right? You're sitting in front of them. Do you think this number one offense can sustain what they're doing today?
Not if your bullpen gives up 5 runs in the process that you scored 4. Not if your bullpen, if you have a small lead and your bullpen gives up 5 runs, 6 runs, no. Your offense can only go so long, because you're going to have a lull offensively at times. Yeah. It's a long season, 162 games. Your offense is not going to be on every game, and the Rangers saw that for a little bit of a small brief period a few weeks ago, where they weren't scoring as many runs. There was kind of a little bit of a slump here and there with some guys. They were able to still win some games because the starting pitching did pitch really well. But your offense at times is going to go up and down. It's a roller coaster. It's a marathon. So when you hit a marathon, you have that stretch where, like, okay, I'm going to coast a little bit. That's when the offense is down. And then, hey, where that you're kind of a little bit on that downhill trend. I'm going to hit it hard right there, and that's when the offense is up. So when you have that lull, how does your pitching hold up?
Yeah.
That I don't know. I don't trust the Rangers pitching and the bullpen to hold that up when the offense is having their struggles. That's when the championship teams, really turn on and show, hey, we have all three phases. We field well, we hit well, we pitch well. When our hitting is not doing well, our pitching and fielding is going to do good. When we're not fielding well, our hitting is going to take care of it, and our pitching is going to shut it down. When our pitching is not doing well, our hitting is going to take care of it, and our fielding is going to do our job. Well, I don't trust that pitching side of the Rangers. You're going to hit, but what happens when the hitting doesn't do well? Is that pitching going to do enough to keep you in games? I don't have the confidence in that to say so. So there's moments where the bullpen will just have a good game or a good stretch of games, and you'll win some games because of it. But when you have that long stretch of 2-3 weeks where maybe the offense has been you instead of scoring 7-8 runs, your offense is scoring 2 to 3 runs, 4 runs. Is your pitching going to hold teams to where you limit them and still win a 4-2, 4-3 ball game?
Hey,
go ahead. The thing I'm worried about with young teams is this. Like Texas, they get in a pennant race. It's late August, early September. The pitching's not pitching well. They're good offensive teams, and they start pressing at the plate like, I got to hit a home run here. We got to score. And they don't come through. And that's the thing I'm worried about with Texas is Houston gets within 2 games on September 1st. They start saying, uh-oh. And then they start pressing on offense and they don't score anything and they blow the division because of that.
Yeah, and that's where the leadership of Corey Seager and Marcus Semien really come into play for that offense and say, hey, we don't need you don't need to be the hero. You can't, don't try to hit 5-run home runs. Nobody can, nobody will. Just go and put things together and make sure the offense is clicking. And that's what they've been able to do most of the season is they've been able to just click and be able to hit hard shots and score runs and drive in runs instead of relying on the home run ball. They're putting things together. So the leadership of is where you have with the guys, like I said, with Seager, who's played in the World Series and won a World Series. Marcus Semien's played in big games in his career with and been a big leaguer for a very long time, very respected big leaguer who's been a good mainstay in that clubhouse where they kind of just they help and feed that along. And you have to have a manager who knows how to be able to do that as well. And Bruce Bochy kind of keep the young kids under control. And that's what he's been able to do. He's been refreshed in this managerial job where he has to do a little bit more because you don't have when he was with the San Francisco Giants, you had a lot of leadership, a lot of old veterans on that group that just knew how to go and play and win ball games. Younger team, not as experienced in the winning side. He has to be able to rein these kids in and really make sure that they are focused to the plan of what they're doing. And they have so far. So, again, it's a kudos job to Bruce Bochy. He's one of the best managers in baseball. But you have the leadership that in that lineup with Seager and Semien kind of keeping things going and keeping them clicking and understanding you don't have to hit home runs every at-bat. If you can get a double and another probably gets a single, guess what? We just scored a run. If you can get another single and another double, we just scored another run. Click and keep things going. Keep the merry-go-round going. And then when you get your shot and you hit it deep and you hit a home run, awesome. That's how you keep it going from there.
To me, I'm gonna piggyback what you said. I think Bruce Bochy is one of the best managers in baseball, which will help the Rangers down in situations they haven't been. And I always say this: sometimes a grand slam is almost worse than hitting a two-run double, because that keeps guys in pressure on. You hit a grand slam, hey, slate's clean. I just got now bases are empty. I ain't got to worry about nothing. Or the same with a home run, right? But if you continue to keep the line moving and keep that pressure on that pitcher, hey, I got to worry about runners now. I got to worry about this. I got to worry about it. It keeps everybody thinking. So I know like the league has shifted to this home run or nothing, but sometimes, by God, just a double or a single where you get guys keep going down the line keeps things going. I want to speak about Bruce Bochy real fast. I don't know if you – it was 2 nights back-to-back, Jonathan. One was in the Rangers game. He called it the worst call in his entire career about blocking the plate, where the guy was clearly not blocking the plate. And then I've seen it. It was like the next night, same similar situation. What's your thought process on this Buster Posey rule here down the line? I mean, I kind of miss the old collision. There was a play at the Cardinals-Cubs game yesterday. I'm like, just run this dude over and call it good. Who cares what happens? I know we're trying to protect him, but that's baseball, baby.
Well, you're okay with saying these guys colliding because it's not your money. You're paying those guys $20 million and they get hurt and they're out for a season. That's why the Buster Posey rule came in. Buster Posey is one of the highest paid catchers at the time. breaks his leg, his season ends, and the Giants fall apart throughout that season, and because their leader was gone. So if you're looking at it and saying, hey, this is, we're going to pay these guys top dollar money, we need them healthy. So I can understand why no more collisions. Now, this rule here, I thought instant replay was brought in to assure the call was correct. They botched this. They absolutely 100% botched this call. And it's unfortunate for Bruce Bochy. It's unfortunate for the umpire at hand. The umpire made the correct call. He made the correct call. The runner's out. He gave him a lane. You're supposed to. You're taught, and I teach my catchers in softball and in baseball. You follow the ball. You cannot be on top of the plate. So if the ball takes you up the line, you have to move your body outside and give him the lane on the inside. Jonah Heim was right there. He gave the lane. He's not on the plate. His foot is on the edge of the plate. So there is a lane to slide in. And the umpire shifts, and you can watch it right here as you're showing the video. He's moving to the inside where he's supposed to be, because if the runner's moving inside, he has to move inside. So he has a lane. If he sees that there's a lane and he's watching it right there, all right, I see the lane. Guess what? He has a lane to slide. Runner's out. We move on. The officiating, the New York screwed this up. So now Bruce Bochy's coming out to argue with the umpire who made the correct call. What else are you supposed to do if you're the umpire in that case? Well, I agree. Bruce, I agree with you. I called him out. It's not my call. New York screwed up. Bruce is still arguing. Bruce, I made the correct call. I didn't change it. Stop arguing with me. You cannot argue. Bruce still argues. All right, now I got to toss you now. It's unfortunate on all sides because
Dave Martinez, I think it was Dave Martinez of the Nationals. The next day, he gave the ump a earful and laid down. He was laying down on the job.
Well, that's a different one in there, and I think there was a little bit of a different story on that took place on that one. But that's why I said New York was put together. This instant replay system was put together to make sure the calls have been correct.
Correct.
And we've seen more botches with instant replay than we normally have. And it's whether it's the blocking of the plate rule, in that game, in the White Sox Rangers game, you have now this obstruction interference rule with a base runner running the first base and they're running on the inside part of the line and they're moving themselves last minute or last second towards the base to be in foul territory. And that's kind of being that's debated as obstruction interference. I don't understand where we're getting a gray area in the rules all of a sudden. That's the biggest issue right now is where is this gray area where we don't really understand the concept of the rules? It's been the same rules for 150 years. Now we've made tweaks to the home plate rule. Yes, that's been a tweak, but it's not. There's no gray area. You have to give us lane. You have to give a lane to be able to for the runner in that case. Jonah Heim did. Where's the gray area now? The obstruction at first base rule. You have to be on the line or in foul territory as the moment you're towards first base. And if these guys are running, 6 inches in fair territory, as they're then starting to cut at last second, well, guess what? I got interference. Where's the gray area? Instant replay was created to eliminate gray areas in the first place. So why are we creating more gray areas in these calls? And New York has no answers to this. And the people who are paying for it are the teams playing, but worse is the umpires on the field who make the correct calls. They get the challenge. They send it to New York, and New York overturns the call, which was wrong when they did so. And now the umpires are the ones who are getting the blame for it, and they're the ones getting their ass chewed out by these guys because New York screwed up. So I don't know how we have completely botched instant replay in Major League Baseball.
I mean, we botched it in NFL, so why not MLB?
Yeah, come on. You're not better.
We'll get you out on this. What do you got going on this weekend as far as
Wait. I want his thoughts on this one real quick. I want the balk. The balk. This one drives me nuts. This is one Sam referenced earlier, by the way, in case somebody caught it, because I did.
Thank you, Tanner.
You're welcome.
I'm clever, but nobody realizes it, damn it.
I haven't seen this. I saw a little bit about this. So I haven't seen what happened in this game, but I heard that Stanek absolutely lost his mind.
I'm pretty sure it's
lots of F-bombs.
Yeah, he did.
What the claim is that he came loose before he stepped off, is what they're claiming. Is what I believe they're claiming. So like he was like in motion and then stepping off.
I don't see.
Well, it could have happened to a better team, so I don't really care. It's the Astros. So, I mean, if you call it 2 goes,
I don't know.
Can you rewind that real quick? Rewind it a little bit right before he steps on the rubber.
Hang on.
So right here, yeah.
I think it's that little leg.
Watch his back leg. Watch the back leg. His right knee buckles.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Watch his right knee. His right knee buckles before he steps off.
Right here.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. You're right.
That's it.
Can't do that.
Yep.
Nope, can't do that. So that's a ball. That is a ball.
Yeah.
Good call. Couldn't have to a better team.
It used to be my quick pick. Is I would get away with it. There were a couple of times I got caught, but for the most time I'd get away with my quick pick that way on that. But yeah. Then he does this
because if you watch, so his argument is I do that all the time because if you watch the pitch he just threw striking out the batter, that right knee does buckle again. Yeah. But the difference is he set, knee buckles and goes. The knee buckled prior to coming set. Therefore, it is not the same movement he always makes when he is set to go to the plate. So if you do something different, if you're doing something different, those guys are going to notice it, and they called it right there. So that's where that ball comes in play, is that because he makes that knee buckle prior to going to the plate, which that's allowed to do. But he did the knee buckle before coming set. Uncommon movement, that's a balk.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm with you now. I was trying to figure. I didn't pay too much attention. I was trying to figure it out, but yeah, that right knee,
the right knee buckling. It's like he's looks like he's ready to go to the
that
plate.
That little flinch is all it takes.
Yeah, yep.
Hey, Jackson,
you can't do that.
We'll go ahead and get you out on this. What you got going on? What's Alpha got going on this weekend? And how many championships are bringing home?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna be doing a show tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon with Scott, and I get to be on Scott and Alan. I get to celebrate my birthday with them. Tomorrow's my birthday.
Woo,
so I get to enjoy that. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it.
By the way, Alan, if you're listening, it's all LSU all the time tomorrow. Forget the rest of the major leagues.
It's done. It's done. The birthday boy gets his
I got scotch and champagne. I'm about to start unpopping here pretty soon for the national championship celebration. My birthday tomorrow.
What song is it going to be playing in the background?
Calling Baton Rouge.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Only song to celebrate in Baton Rouge now. Come on, it's Calling Baton Rouge.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Nah,
remember
but
that measured on the Richter scale when he sang it in Baton Rouge.
Oh yeah, it did. He said it. They said it. Garth Brooks
measured on the Richter scale.
They set off an earthquake. They had 130,000 people in Tiger Stadium for his concert.
Amazing.
And they were so loud when they played Calling Baton Rouge that it set off an earthquake in the seismograph right next door. It's crazy, LSU fan.
So great.
But my birthday tomorrow, I'll be on the show with Scott and Alan. I will be in Baton Rouge, actually, on Friday. I drive down to Baton Rouge with my 18U team for a college showcase down there. So we're going to travel a little bit. I get to go home. I get a little home cooking back down and be spending some time in New Orleans, as well coaching in Baton Rouge from there. So I'll be with them. So very fun. I'm going to be wearing my purple and gold and probably partying in Tigerland after the games, celebrating the national title. Probably get some jealous shots with everybody else out there too. So we're in action. My 18U's in action this weekend. My 14U, my younger 14U team, they were off this past weekend. They get to play again this weekend. My 10U team's in action as well. My 14U baseball team is in action. So a lot of teams, a lot of going on. A lot of fun been happening. A lot of success. We're still hitting home runs. We're still hitting bombs left and right every week. I think we're at 7 straight weeks. We've had at least 1 home run. In 5 straight weeks, we've hit multiple home runs in a weekend. So Alpha Bomb Squad is really showing up, and we're putting some good numbers together. My 16U team, we beat 2 national teams this past weekend, which was a huge accomplishment for us, as we're trying to be at that level. We're the small organization that goes and beats and competes, and we're doing it on a weekly basis. So I'm very proud of what we've been able to achieve this weekend. Finished 3rd in the Texas championships with that group. 18U is getting to play showcase ball this week. I got a girl probably about to commit to a college here in the next couple of weeks as well. She's supposed to be on a visit with them. Actually, she's supposed to meet with a coach tomorrow. So I think that she's going to I think she'll get an official offer from them and possibly commit on the spot because it's a school that she's been interested in for a while. Yes.
Bravo. Bravo.
I love it, man. I love it. There's been a lot of good things. And that's why my voice right now, I'm doing my best to fight through. My voice it was 105 with 115 heat index yesterday out here. And we played and battled through that. So I'm a little darker. I'm a little redder as well. But man, I'm just I can tell you guys each week, I'm proud. I'm so happy and proud of what these girls and what these kids have been able to do. And man, there's just more. There's more coming. There's more growth. We're getting ready for nationals next week. So when I talk to you guys next week, I'll still be in New Orleans, getting ready to go to Lafayette and heading to nationals. And hopefully then the following week, I have a national championship trophy right next to me as well, celebrating with you guys in that conversation.
All right, we're looking forward to a man who turns 24 tomorrow. In case the MLB's watching, Jonathan, I got a lot.
Got his whole future ahead of him. He's
man who turns 24 tomorrow. Future first baseman of the Oakland A's. Give it up for the Grishman with the happy. Go celebrate that Tigers wins, my man.
Definitely,
we'll catch you next Monday.
Hey, I appreciate it as always.
Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate you, buddy.
That guy's passion is so good. It's so good. I love it. I eat it up every time.
So much fun.
Hey, let's go ahead and we'll get our parting shots. A man who celebrated his LTS birthday 1 year on the show on the network, none other than Scott Cobe. We'll start off with you. Happy anniversary, LTS.
Thank you. Couple things, quick things. Congratulations, Jonathan, on LSU. First of all, the comments in the chat tonight were really, really good. A lot of comments, really, really good. So we appreciate all those. And go to Underdog and play on Underdog. It's $3 or $4 for a fantasy league. Best ball. It'll be the best $3 or $4 you ever spent, and you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy the draft and the process. So
give it out those bets again tomorrow, Scott.
What did I even say? I got like a bunch of them going.
We got Brave. So I wrote down Braves money line, Texas money line, and is it Twins one and under, right?
Under 3.5 team total. And Tana added no runs first inning, Minnesota, Atlanta as well.
Right.
So.
Go ahead, Sam. Say what's your final thoughts here?
Well, I can tell you that not all the comments are great because Carlos was being mean to me again. But anyway, I ran across this quote. I get like a famous quote of the day. It's from a Greek philosopher named Democritus, I think. Happiness resides not in possessions and not in gold. Happiness dwells in the soul. So I'll leave you with that one.
Okay.
Yeah, little history for you. Little history, Nick. It's called culture, Nick. It's called culture.
And by the way, shout out to Johnny Cruz.
Wait. What are you about to bash me with? What did you say?
Nick's trying to find anything to do, but you're giving him no ammo.
I know.
I was just going to say, you tell me to coach. I was going to say this: the guy who hasn't left Nashville, Tennessee, his whole life. So that's it. Shout out to Johnny. Johnny missed the show. He's trying to fix the Cruz mobile. So
sounds like a date night to me. Sounds like a whole date night. Yeah,
Tanner, go ahead and say your final goodbyes. Your final thoughts.
Guys, I don't get a lot. Wednesday night, Sports Buffoons coming into play. Thursday, we'll have another round, a couple guests here. Of course, on the LTS show, getting all finalized here tomorrow. And then back here Sunday. And then, I'm going to leave it up to the guys, see what they want to do for the 4th. If they want to go on Monday, Thursday, they're more than happy to. If not, we'll figure life out and we'll, announce it. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, hit the bell in the YouTube, guys. If you hit the bell on the YouTube, you know when we're live. That's the thing here for next week, especially. So
ring a ding
check it out, and we'll be, we'll be around. We're always around.
Oh shit! I forgot. We've been telling Jim and John we were going to be.
I told Jim already. Actually,
Tanner, we got a 3-game series coming up. Our teams do.
Yeah, so we probably won't do a Monday show. We'll do a this Sunday, and a Thursday show.
That's fine. Sam, Royals just took two games from the Tampa Bay Rays, baby. Bring on the Guardians.
Yeah. Don't hurt yourself. I want you to stay in shape.
And before Nick goes, poor Allen, he made a bet with Keith Engel and lost another bet. So he's got to wear a Yankees cap.
Yeah, I retweeted that picture. I retweeted it right away. I had no problems with it.
He has no luck in making bets. He loses every one of them he makes.
Well, he's the perfect person in the world. He's a Yankees fan / Cowboys Eagles fan, and just look
at the shade.
I'm sure he's a Alabama Lakers fan too.
This is delicious. Look at it. Look at it. Drink it up.
I forgot to bring that up earlier.
Look at it.
Oh man!
All right,
Nick, you got any fancy
get out
words,
here, guys?
Yeah. I truly do love doing this.
Yeah, my bad. Nick's final thoughts.
Yeah, let me get my final thoughts in. As
Wow,
the host of the show, let me get my final.
Wow,
He gets final thoughts all show, dude.
Wow,
Yeah.
Tanner.
I truly love this show. I love doing this. Sometimes in life, I felt like I'm not good at a lot of things, but I've always felt like talking sports and having fun is the one thing I've always been good at. Man, I don't know what to say. This weekend is addiction, man. I've had a lot, not myself, but family member. My dad has suffered with addiction my whole life, and it reared its ugly head again this weekend. And sometimes in life, the people who are affected by, not the people who are addicted, but the ones that they affects us all in different ways. And sometimes you have to say goodbye to the ones that you love, even though that they're living, because you have to save the ones that you love from that addiction. And it's been heavy on my mind this weekend because it reared its head this weekend. And but being here for 2 hours with you guys, and then on Sunday for the hours, it's my mental vacation. And I thank you guys for that enough. I can't thank you guys that enough. And doing this makes everything okay, and know that I love this, and this is where I'm supposed to be at and doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and makes the real world not so bad sometimes. So that's it for my final thoughts. We'll be back Wednesday night.
Nick, that's for sure.
Nick, I love you, bud. That wow.
We'll be back.
Yeah, look at it.
We'll be back Wednesday night, 8:00 Central Time Zone. So we'll see you then.
Thursday night, guys.
Thursday night. Sorry,
we're in
the LTS show. Be a friend. Tell a friend.
Wednesday night if you need me.
Ring my bell.
Thursday night, LTS show, 8:00 Central, 9:00 Eastern. 2 hours. We'll have some new guests lined up as well. Join us. Be a friend. Tell a friend. We'll see you then, folks.
Ring my bell.
One life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep, only scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me.